Hi, I'm Mrs.D. Math. Thanks for joining me for another 6th grade video. Today we are going to be covering the volume of prisms. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's first talk about what a prism is. This is a rectangular prism. It's going to look like a box, and we have several things indicated here. We have our length, width, and height, and then we also have some faces marked, and you can see that every rectangular portion of this box is a face. If I were to make this box look more 3D, these would also be faces, the bottom, and then the two back sides that are indicated here. So you have 6 faces, and there's always going to be at least 2 parallel faces. A cube is also considered a prism or a rectangular prism. Even though all 6 sides are the exact same shape and size, they're squares, this means that it is a cube, but we can still follow the same process with our length, width, and height in order to find the volume. When we're solving for a prism, the volume is going to be the space inside the prism. So that's what we're solving for, is that space inside of our prism. So let's move on to the formula. So in order to find the volume, we need to use what it says on the formula chart. It's going to show BH. The B is capitalized. That capital B means area of the base. And I know the area of the base is made up of the length and width. Therefore, the area of the prism is going to be length times width times height. Let's go ahead and test it out. So here we have 4 by 2 by 5 is my prism. So to find my volume, I have 3 dimensions now, unlike the area when you have 2. So I'm going to multiply all 3 together. So 2 times 5 makes my base, and then I'm going to multiply that times the height. Since I'm multiplying, the order does not matter. I'm going to usually try to pick the numbers that are easier to multiply first. So 2 times 5 is 10, and then I know that 10 times 4 is 40. So this is 40. There is no measurement here, so we're just going to call it units cubed. Now, because we have 3 dimensions, our exponent here in the labeling is going to be a 3, so we call that cubed. Prism number 2, we have 12 by 2 by 4.5. So now we're going to have to deal with some fractions in this case. Volume equals area of the base, which is 4.5 times 2, and then I'm going to multiply that times my height. There's a couple of ways we can do this when you have learned fractions. You can turn this into an improper fraction, so that's going to be 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9 halves, times 2 times 12. I can go ahead and reduce, so divided by 2 and times 2 are going to cancel each other out. Therefore, the volume of this rectangular prism is 9 times 12, and 9 times 12 is 108 inches cubed. So let's go ahead and solve a word problem rather than an image. You need to store some boxes in a storage unit. The facility offers different size units. You have 40 cube-shaped boxes that have side lengths of 2.5 feet. If the storage unit is a prism with dimensions 8 feet by 8 feet by 10 feet, will this be large enough to store all 40 boxes? This problem is going to have 2 parts to it, and first we need to figure out the volume that the boxes are going to take up. So we know that the cubes, that means that all 3 dimensions are 2.5 feet. So I'm going to find the volume by multiplying 2.5 times 2.5 times 2.5. I'm going to go ahead and turn those into mixed numbers. So I have 5 halves times 5 halves times 5 halves. Just to review fractions, you want to multiply straight across the top. So 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. And then straight across the bottom, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So now we have 125 eighths. I'm going to leave that right now, and then I'm going to need to figure out if each box is 125 eighths volume how much is the 40 boxes going to take up? So I'm going to multiply that by 40 boxes. I'm going to put that 40 over 1. So I can multiply straight across the top, straight across the bottom. But before I multiply, I'm going to simplify this to make my life easier. I know that 8 goes into 40 evenly. So 8 divided by 8 is 1. 40 divided by 8 is 5. Now I have much easier numbers to multiply by. 125 times 5 is going to equal 625 feet cubed. So this is the amount of space that the boxes are going to need. Now I need to find out, is this storage unit going to be large enough? So I need to find the volume of the storage unit, and it needs to be greater than 625 feet. So the volume of the storage unit is length times width times height. I can find those three numbers here in the problem. And 8 times 8 is 64. 64 times 10 equals 640 feet cubed. So I can see, since the volume of the boxes is less than the volume of the storage unit, then yes, these boxes will fit in this storage unit. I'm Mrs.D. Math. Thanks for joining me today in finding the volume of prisms in 6th grade math. Have a great day. Bye.